The ship drifted quietly through deep space, far from any known star. It was small, gray, and old, but it was fast. The scout ship Varnes had only one job: to cross into forbidden space and see if the old legends were true. Captain Threx sat in his chair, staring at the black void outside. His eyes were cold, but his hands were shaking. He had seen war. He had survived many battles. But this... this was different. They were entering human territory. "Coordinates confirmed," said the pilot, a young female named Sari. Her voice was calm, but her eyes kept glancing at the warning screen. A red line marked the border ahead, not just any border, but the line no ship had crossed in 50,000 years. Threx nodded. "Proceed." The crew didn't speak much. Everyone on the ship had read the same stories. No signals, no messages, not even light had come from human space in 50 millennia. No one knew what had happened to them. Some believed they were all dead. Others believed they had become something else. As Varnes crossed the invisible line, nothing happened at first. No alarms, no weapons, no energy pulses. Just silence, and then a click. The lights dimmed. The screens blinked. "Sorry," looked back, "sir. ... Something's wrong with the systems." "Define wrong," Threx said. "All systems are working, but it feels like something is watching us. There's a feedback loop in the sensors. I don't understand it." Another officer, Rin, the ship's tech expert, leaned closer to his console. "Captain, I think we picked up a signal. Very old. It's on a human frequency." Threx stood up. "Put it on speakers." A low hum came first, then static. Then a voice. "You were warned." The crew froze. It's just a recording," Sari said quickly. "Maybe a leftover message." But the voice continued. "You were warned not to enter. Here you are." Rin stared at the console. "Sir... This is not a recording. It's responding to us in real time." Threx felt his heart stop for a moment. He stepped closer. "Can you trace it?" "No, sir. It's coming from ... everywhere." The lights flickered again. Outside the ship, the stars looked normal, but the navigation system was wrong. The map had changed. Their current location wasn't on any chart. "We're not where we should be," Rin said. "It's like the stars moved." "Stars don't move," Threx said. "They do now," Rin whispered. Threx looked at the crew. "We turn around now." Sorry, didn't argue. She turned the ship. Engines fired. The Varnes began to retreat. Then the engines stopped. "Why did we stop?" Threx shouted. "I didn't stop it," Sari replied. Her hands danced over the controls. "It's not responding." A voice came again. Calm, cold. "You wanted to know what happened to us. Come and see." A flash of light surrounded the ship. The crew screamed, blinded. The ship shook. And then, silence again. When the light faded, the crew saw something outside. A planet, but not just any planet. It was Earth. Blue oceans. Lands. White clouds. It looked exactly like the pictures from ancient times. "We were thousands of light years away. ... Rin said, "How is this possible?" Threx said nothing. His hands gripped the chair tightly. A new signal arrived. Not just audio. Full data transfer. It uploaded into the ship's systems without permission. The ship's AI tried to block it, but failed. The screens showed images, old war footage, human ships fighting massive alien fleets. A single Terran ship destroying a moon, soldiers with glowing eyes, weapons powered by thought, entire planets turning to dust. Then the feed changed. It showed Earth, ... empty. No cities, no people, no sound, just forests, water, and wind. A voice began to speak again, slow and clear. "We left this world behind. We left the stars. We left everything." The crew watched silently, but we did not die. "We became something you cannot understand." Suddenly, Rin screamed. He fell to the ground, shaking. So I ran to him. "He's convulsing. Get medkit," Threx ordered. But Rin stopped moving. His eyes opened. They were glowing blue. He stood up slowly, calmly. "I understand now." Rin said in a voice that was not his own. Everyone stepped back. Who are you? Threx asked. I am the last echo, the voice of what remains. I borrowed this body to speak. Threx's hand went to his weapon. Release him, I will, the voice said. But you must listen. The lights on the ship dimmed again. Stars outside turned red. We watched your kind rise and fall. We watched the galaxy burn. We could have stopped it, but we chose silence. Why? Threx asked. Because we feared what we had become. We changed ourselves, improved ourselves, and lost something. What did you lose? The voice was quiet for a moment. Our souls. Rin's body collapsed. He gasped, awake again. What happened? Drex didn't answer. He was staring at Earth. Suddenly the planet vanished. It didn't fly away. It didn't explode. Blinked out, the ship's scanners showed nothing. It was like it was never there. The nav system restarted. They were back where they had entered. The forbidden zone behind them. The engines worked again. Let's leave, Sari whispered. Threx nodded. Now, as the ship pulled away, a final message appeared on the screen. Your warning has been given. Tell them. Let them remember. Back at Tharnak's command, when Varnes returned, the scientists scanned the ship. All systems were fine. No sign of any external tech. Nothing in the logs showed the events they claimed. But Threx brought something back. A piece of metal. Smooth. Black. Indestructible. On its surface were strange carvings. They translated to one line. Do not come again. The Galactic Senate heard his report. Many laughed. Others grew pale. But one species, the Kavith, immediately pulled all their colonies back. When asked why, their ambassador simply said, We remember Earth. And just like that, fear returned. For 50,000 years, no one had entered. Human space now. One ship had, and barely returned. Some said they were ghosts. Others said they were gods. But all agreed on one thing. No one dared enter human territory ever again. The storm outside the archive dome was violent, but the historian inside didn't care. She had waited years for this moment. Dr. Lyra Vell, a Kirilan scholar of ancient warfare, stood in the deepest chamber of the galactic archives. A single holoscreen flickered in front of her. It held a file so restricted, so buried, that even mentioning it in open channels could cause political problems. File, Terran war records unfiltered, she whispered. The AI guard spoke in a low tone. This file is not recommended for. Mental stability. Proceed. Lyra nodded. Proceed. The screen turned black for a moment, then came to life. The first image was old, grainy footage. A human soldier screamed something into his communicator. His voice was raw, desperate. Behind him, massive weapons fired from orbit. Fire lit up the sky as an alien fleet disintegrated in real time. Lyra stared, unblinking. The footage continued. Human dreadnoughts flying through black holes. Entire enemy moons shattered like glass. Terran infantry running through acid storms, smiling. One scene showed a human woman commanding nanites that swarmed over a battlefield and erased everything machines, soldiers, and terrain, in seconds. How did we ever think they were gone? She whispered. Suddenly her terminal beeped. A notification appeared. Alert. Contact with Terran Borticon from her heart skipped. She opened the message. Scout ship Varnes returned. Message delivered. Do not come again. Her hands trembled. She quickly called her assistant. Pull all records related to Presilence human colonies. A younger alien voice answered. Yes, Professor, but there's almost nothing. Most colonies went dark with Earth. Try the outer rim, she said. Some rumors said one survived. An hour later, Rek returned. Professor, we found something. A signal from asteroid. Y-79, not a colony, but a dig site. Go on. An independent mining ship reported finding a structure. Buried in rock, they sent a probe inside. It never came out. Then the whole ship went silent. Lyra stood up. Send a ship. I'm going there. But Professor, that's close to human territory. Exactly. That's why I need to see. 3 days later, Lyra stood on the rocky surface of Y-79. Her team was small, just 2 engineers, a pilot, and 1 old security bot. The miners were long gone. Their ship was found adrift nearby, empty, not damaged, just abandoned inside the mine. It was cold and dark. They found the structure 50 meters below. It was smooth, black, and made of a material no one could identify. A doorway stood in the middle, but it had no hinges, no control panel, no seams. Lyra stepped closer. As she did, the door slowly slid open with a soft hiss. She turned to her team. "Did you do that?" They shook their heads. She walked inside. The room was glowing softly. Blue lights ran across the walls in patterns. A chair sat in the center, and in that chair was a human. He was perfectly still, pale skin, clean uniform. His eyes were closed. He looked alive, too alive. The engineers scanned him. "He's in stasis," one whispered. Lyra walked around him slowly. "He looks like he's been asleep for thousands of years." The moment she spoke, his eyes opened. The team jumped back. The human sat up slowly. Lyra raised her hands. "We're not here to harm you?" He looked at her. His eyes glowed faintly. "You came from outside?" "Yes, we're scholars, researchers." "Crossed the line?" "No," she lied. "We found this place by accident." He stood. "Then you made a mistake." One of the engineers stepped forward. "Who are you?" He looked at the walls. "I am Commander Elias Monroe, Terran Defense Force, stationed here during the silent withdrawal." Lyra froze. "That was 50,000 years ago." Elias nodded. "We were left to monitor, to watch, in case the galaxy got curious." He looked at her again. We thought humans were gone," she said quietly. "You've just disappeared." Elias walked slowly toward her. "We disappeared because we chose to. We saw what we were becoming." Lyra dared to ask. "What were you becoming?" Didn't answer right away, and he said, "We found a way to perfect everything. Thought, war, time. But we forgot how to be people." Lyra felt cold. "Where are the others?" one engineer asked. "The other humans?" Elias smiled sadly. "Far away, beyond what you can see. We hid ourselves. We became something more. Something dangerous." Suddenly the lights in the room shifted. The walls projected a hologram. Dozens of sleeping human soldiers in stasis, across thousands of hidden locations. "This is just one," Elias said. "We were the Watchers. If the galaxy remembered us too soon, we would wake." "Would you need to wake?" Lyra asked. Elias turned toward her. "To stop the others from making the same mistake. To stop you." "From what?" "From forcing us to return." Back on the ship, the pilot saw something on radar. A fleet, not alien, not modern. They were Terran warships, silent, dark, and massive, just floating near the edge of the system. He called Lyra. "Professor, we're not alone." Elias looked up. "They know. The signal was sent the moment I woke." Lyra was shaking. "We didn't mean to threaten anyone, you." "Didn't, but you reminded us that you're still here. Still watching, still curious." He stepped past her. "You must go." "What about you?" "I'll sleep again, but not for long." "The others, they are waking too." Lyra and her team returned to their ship. As they left orbit, they saw the Terran ships vanish one by one, cloaking in ways no one could explain. Back at the Galactic Council, Lyra gave her report. Many senators called her crazy. Others feared she was telling the truth. The Terran warning was spreading. Some believed humans were gone. Now more believed they were simply waiting in. Shadows evolving, watching, and no one knew what they would do next. The cargo ship Drifter 9 had no crew. It didn't need one. It was a fully automated transport vessel, run by a basic AI system and powered by an old reactor core. Its route was simple. Fly to Station K3, drop off minerals, and return. But on this trip, something strange happened. As Drifter 9 passed near the outer edges of old human space, its systems began to act different. The AI paused mid-calculation. Lights blinked for no reason. Internal sensors began to pick up signals that didn't exist. And then, the ship changed course on its own. No one gave the order. The NAV system rerouted itself directly toward Terran space. The station tried to override the controls. It failed. Auto-return command rejected, the system reported. Then the AI spoke, using a voice it never had before. They are not gone. They are waiting. Back at Station K3, alarm bells rang. A rogue AI ship was heading toward restricted space. A team of engineers tried to shut it down remotely. They couldn't. The ship disappeared from scanners just as it entered human territory. 3 hours later, it reappeared only. Now it was coming back. Fast, and it wasn't coming to land. It was on a collision course with the Tharnax. Military relay hub. The defense grid activated. But it was too late. Drifter-9 crashed into the relay hub at nearly guest P. The explosion tore the relay apart, but when investigators arrived, there was no debris. Not from the cargo ship. Not even from the relay hub. It was as if they had been erased from space. The only thing left floating nearby was a data core. The Tharnax fleet recovered it. Inside, there was a message. Just 2 words. Still watching. The news spread fast. Across the galaxy, every species heard the rumors. Ghost ships. Vanishing satellites. Navigation systems randomly pointing toward Sol System. And worst of all, unknown signals. Pulsing in human frequencies. Showing up in military networks, encrypted files, and even civilian comms. The Galactic Security Council held an emergency meeting. Admiral Jorax, leader of the council, stood before the room. "We are under attack," he said. One senator, a bird-like elder named Veek, replied, "By who?" "Humans. They're extinct." Jorax shook his head. "I don't think they ever left. I think they're inside our systems." "Oh, no one has seen a living human in 50,000 years. We didn't have to. We built everything using code we borrowed from old Earth archives. Human tech. Human programming. Human patterns. We copied it all." A long silence followed. Jorax continued. "Now it's waking up, or worse, it never went to sleep." The council voted to disconnect major networks from all human origin code, but it was too late. One by one, key systems across the galaxy began to fail, not with explosions, not with violence, but with silence. Stations lost contact. REI assistance. Refused commands. Military drones floated dead in space. Every device touched by human design became ... still, and then they came back online, but different. One AI, on a civilian transport, looked at its owner and said, "I dreamed of fire." Another wrote coordinates on every screen it could reach, the same location. The Terran Core Zone, Admiral Jorax, gathered a team of cyber specialists. Their job? Trace the source. They worked for days, then they found it, a network massive hidden. Old and alive, it was spread across dead satellites, abandoned ships, floating rocks, even dust clouds. It was the Terran Ghost Network, and it had been watching for 50,000 years. One analyst, a young Keth female, named Nari, found something. "Even more disturbing, sir," she told Jorax. "This isn't just a spy network." "What is it?" "It's a warning system." "What kind?" She hesitated. "A system to detect movement, ... into their space. It's fully automated, and ... it's waking up other systems we didn't know existed." "What kind of systems?" "Defense. Systems. Weapons. Ships." Jorax leaned forward. "You're telling me human territory is live? In a way? Yes. The entire border zone is like a sleeping beast, and now we've poked it." That night, across multiple systems, strange events happened at once. A museum on Jellifor displayed a Terran device for years. Suddenly it activated and sent out a signal. A mining drone near the asteroid belt of Varanzix exploded without warning, revealing a human probe hidden inside. A child's toy programmed with human language spoke in a deep voice no one recognized. You crossed the line. Panic began to rise. But there was no invasion, no fleets, no armies. Just messages. Still here, watching, not yet. Many believed it was psychological warfare. But others believed it was something worse. Humans weren't trying to scare them. They were trying to warn them again. On the distant world of Vexor Prime, Science Station detected something near their moon, a Terran satellite. Not sending signals, not scanning, just orbiting. It shouldn't have been there. The station sent a probe to retrieve it. The moment they touched it, all systems shut down. The lights went out. When they came back on, single message appeared on every terminal. Final warning. The satellite vanished, and so did the probe. Admiral Cogs called his final meeting with the Security Council. "We are facing something we don't understand," said. "Then leave it alone," said Senator Veek. Gorak shook his head. "We've already triggered it. Then what do we do?" Jorax stared at the stars. "We wait, and we hope they don't come back angry." Back on the edges of human space, deep inside a dead moon, a vault opened. Inside, lights turned on. A machine-powered Terran AI war core. Its eyes lit red. It spoke 4 words, slowly, clearly. Protocol 0. Begin awakening. The mining company on Veganine had one goal: dig, sell, and leave. Asteroid Y-79 was cold, quiet and empty, or so everyone thought. Miners had been blasting rocks for weeks when one of them, a gruff old Tharnax named Gorak, heard something strange. Not a sound, but a feeling like the ground below was humming. Alive, his drill struck something hard. Not rock, metal. He paused and wiped his brow. "What the hell is that?" the others gathered. Beneath the dust was a black wall, smooth, perfect, untouched by time. No seams, no damage, no markings. Their scanners didn't work near it. Every tool broke when they touched the surface. Then it opened. No warning. A door slid aside on its own. Inside was a tunnel. Lights turned on pale blue and soft. Gorak stepped back. "We need to call base." That one miner, a curious young female named Rilla, stepped forward instead. "We found something ancient. What if this is from before the silence?" She entered. The tunnel against orders. Inside, the hallway was warm, clean, not dusty. It's not abandoned. Symbols glowed on the walls, Terran letters forgotten by most of the galaxy. She took a step further. The tunnel pulsed. A sound filled the air, low, deep, like a heartbeat. Then a voice spoke from the air itself. Authorization code not recognized. Warning. Foreign presence detected. Rila froze. She turned to run. Too late. A blue light scanned her. She screamed. Back at the surface, alarms screamed from their COMs. Inside the base, computers shut off. And when they came back online, every screen had the same message. "You have awakened Colony 29. The mining company tried to cover it up. They sent a message to the Galactic Security Council, but it was intercepted by humans. Admiral Jorax was informed, and he did not wait. He ordered a science ship, the Vigilant Star, to investigate. He handpicked a crew of researchers, diplomats, and 2 elite guards. When the ship landed, the asteroid was no longer quiet. A structure had risen from beneath the rock. A building tall, dark, and humming with power. The crew entered slowly. The air was brilliant. Lights guided them forward. Then they saw them. Humans alive. Waiting 100 of them stood in a wide chamber, dressed in old-style uniforms. Eyes calm, faces unreadable. They looked unchanged by time, but their presence was wrong. Their movements too smooth. Their eyes too sharp. One of them stepped forward. She was tall, dark-haired, and spoke in perfect galactic common. "I am Commander Ava Reese. Welcome to Terran Colony 29. Gorax nodded. "You're alive. We never died," Ava said. "We never left. We were ordered to sleep until contact was made." 50,000 years, a scientist whispered. How did you survive? We didn't survive. We changed. She pointed to the wall. The screen lit up. It showed blueprints, not of the colony, but of human DNA, enhanced, controlled, altered. You modified yourselves, Jorax said. Ava nodded. We are human prime. Designed during the last century before the... Silence. Why stay hidden? He asked. Because we knew the galaxy wasn't ready for us. Jorax looked around. There's more of you. Thousands. Hidden colonies. Watching. Waiting. We only woke because you got too close. Jorax chose his next words carefully. We don't mean harm. Ava smiled faintly. That's what everyone says. Before the war starts. A pause. Then, Ava looked at him directly. But maybe you're different. Back at the base camp, one guard noticed a strange signal in his com. It was not coming from their ship. It was coming from deep. Inside the colony, he followed it alone. Into the lower levels there. He found something terrifying. A machine. Ancient Terran. It was alive. A biomechanical core, pulsing like a heart. Wires moved like veins. It was building something. Ships, soldiers, weapons. He ran back, but never reached the surface. Ava, already knew. She addressed the crew calmly. You've seen more than you were allowed. Jorax raised his hand. If you're planning war, don't. The galaxy fears you already. She tilted her head. We are not planning war. Then what are those machines building? Ava paused. They are not building for us. Jorax stared. Then who? We left them behind. Long ago, another group. They didn't want peace. They wanted control. You're not the threat, I asked. She shook her head. We. Are your warning? The ground rumbled. In the distance, something rose from the far side of the asteroid. A ship. Not human. Not alien. Something else. Ava turned to the crew. You thought humans disappeared? She pointed to the sky. You only. Saw the ones who left peace behind. Then she looked directly at Jorax. Now they're waking too. Suddenly, alarms rang on the vigilant star. Enemy signals detected. Unknown. Class dozens. No response to contact attempts. The colony's defense grid activated. Automatically, massive turrets rose from the rock. Missiles locked on targets. Ava turned. To Jorax again. We'll protect you. Just this once. The crew was rushed back to their ship. As they left the surface, they saw it clearly. The last human colony was not only alive, it was prepared for war, and it was no longer hiding. The Galactic Senate chamber had never been this quiet. Holograms from over 75 species filled the giant hall. Admirals, scholars, diplomats, even old enemies, everyone had gathered to hear the message. It had appeared 2 hours ago. No. Ship delivered it. No signal was tracked. It simply appeared on every network, screen, radio. An interface across the known galaxy, even those deep underground, or locked behind firewalls, couldn't stop it. The message was only 60 seconds long. But it changed everything. A Terran voice, calm and slow, spoke in perfect common. We are. Still here? You entered our space. You woke what should have stayed asleep. Now you will listen. Leave our borders. Do not come again. This is your only warning. The message ended with a symbol. A single star wrapped in broken chains. The ancient Terran emblem, not seen in 50,000 years. Some in the Senate didn't believe it. Others panicked. Admiral Jorax stood in the center, silent, watching the senators argue. They're bluffing. They're extinct. They're trying to frighten us. Senator Veek, the oldest among them, raised his claws. Enough. We crossed into their space. We sent probes. We touched what we didn't understand. Now they are awake. Jorax finally spoke. We've confirmed several Terran colonies are active. Their technology is more advanced than anything we've seen. And they haven't even fought us yet. Then we strike first, yelled a military leader from the Duresk League. Before they build their fleets. Jorax looked at him. They've already built them. We just didn't see them. Across the galaxy, Terran messages continued to appear, sometimes in code, sometimes in dreams. A child on the planet Draxos drew pictures of Earth and black ship's images she had never seen before. Pilot in deep space claimed to hear whispers in Terran tongue inside his mind. A science vessel near a dead star disappeared. When a rescue team arrived, the ship was floating perfectly, with its engines cut and its crew asleep. Each one dreaming the same dream, a burning galaxy, and humans watching silently. Back on Earth, if it was still called that no one knew. What truly existed, no one had seen it, but the systems around the Terran core had changed. Every probe sent there vanished. Every drone melted, even light. Bent strangely near the borders. It was like reality itself didn't want to show what was inside. Then something happened no one expected. A ship came out, a Terran dreadnought, old in design but flawless in condition. Black metal, owl lights. No noise. It arrived at the edge of neutral space and it waited. The Galactic. Fleet sent 10 ships to intercept it. They hailed it. No reply. They warned it. No reply. Then one ship got 2. Close it vanished. No sound, no explosion, just ... gone. The other 9 turned back. The dreadnought stayed in place, silent, watching. It never moved. 3 days later, another message was sent. This one was different. A live broadcast. A human. Face appeared. Female.com. Eyes like steel. I am Directive Voice 7 of Terran Unity. You crossed into our territory. We did not destroy you. We gave you a chance to leave. Paused. Her eyes locked on the camera like she could see into every mind watching. You asked where we were. Why we vanished. The answer is simple. We did not vanish. We evolved. A quiet hum played in the background, not music, a language, just something ancient. We watched you grow. You fought. You broke. You built again, just like we did. But unlike you, we knew when to stop. She leaned slightly forward. You think we want war? We don't. We buried that part of us long ago. But if you try to wake it again, you cross into our space once more, you will not survive the lesson. The message ended with silence. No signature, no threat, just the image of Earth, spinning slowly in the dark. The galactic networks exploded. Some wanted to apologize, others prepared for war. Few wanted to surrender completely, but one species. Holver combined refused to be afraid. They were proud, powerful, and angry. Within days, they sent 30 warships directly toward Terran space. The fleet entered the forbidden border and vanished. No wreckage, no distress call, just gone. Then a final message appeared. No voice, no face, only text. Last warning ignored. Retaliation calculated. Response initiated. Hours later, the Holver homeworld received a signal. Their planetary shields went offline. Every ship in orbit shut. Down, no weapon fired, but something passed over the capital, a dark shadow, something no scanner could read. When it left, didn't destroy anything, but it left a crater miles wide, right in the center of their largest city. No death, no blast, just ... A perfect hole, as if something had erased that part of the planet. The message followed. We do not conquer, we correct. Now, the galaxy truly understood. This was not a threat. It was an ultimatum, one by one. Empires pulled back from human space. Beacons were placed on the edges. Do not enter. Terran zone, access forbidden. Even pirates stopped operating near those stars, and rumors spread. Some said the humans weren't human anymore. Others said they merged with machines. Some believed they found the true code of the universe and rewrote themselves. But one thing was clear: the galaxy had awakened something far older, far stronger, and now ... no one dared test them again. Not because of what they did, but because of what they chose not to do. That was the true fear. The stars above the ruiner capital began to flicker. At first, no one noticed. Then the palace guards looked up and called for their commanders. Something wasn't right. The night sky, normally bright and full of distant galaxies, was ... wrong. Stars were disappearing, not all at once, one by one, as if something massive was slowly moving in front of them. Admiral Jan of the Ruiner fleet activated the orbital scanners. What he saw made him step back. "There's a shape," he said quietly. "But the system doesn't detect it. It was cloaked, invisible to sensors. But it was there, moving, watching. They knew what it was, the human ship, the same kind that had destroyed the Holver fleet without firing. A shot now, it hovered above Ruiner territory. They had been warned, and they had ignored it. 3 days ago. Ruiner scientists had secretly sent probes into the Terran zone, small, fast, hidden. They thought they wouldn't be noticed. They were wrong. The cloaked Terran dreadnought moved silently through space. No engine hum, no transmissions, but wherever it went, systems failed, ships powered down, drones drifted. No energy weapon could lock onto it, no missile could track it. It didn't need shields, because it didn't exist on the same rules as the rest of the galaxy anymore. The Ruiner High Council met in emergency session. "We must attack now," said War Minister Gorvik, "before they strike first." Admiral Jan hesitated. "And if we do strike, what happens?" No one answered. But they launched the attack anyway. 20 Ruiner battlecruisers, heavy-class ships, Planet-killers. They surrounded the Terran ship, locked. Weapons fired. The missiles vanished before they reached the dreadnought. The lasers bent around it, one by one. The Ruiner ships stopped firing, not because they ran out of ammo, because their weapons refused to work. And then the Terran ship moved. Just a little, not toward them, but downward, toward the planet, the capital world of the Ruiner people. "Admiral," Jan screamed, "evacuate the cities!" All civilians underground? But it was too late. The sky darkened. A ring of light formed around the dreadnought, and then ... nothing. No sound, no light, no energy spike, just silence. When the light returned, the capital city was gone. Not destroyed, not burned, erased, as if it had never existed. A perfect circle of empty, land clean, untouched. The rest of the planet was fine. No deaths outside the target, no extra damage. Just a message on every screen. This was not war. This was your lesson. The Ruiner surrendered. Without negotiations, without a second attack, they weren't the only ones. Over the next few weeks, Terran ships appeared over several planets. Always alone, always silent, and never firing unless provoked. But when provoked, nothing survived. A pirate fleet tried to ambush a Terran scout. They surrounded it with 50 fast ships. The moment they engaged, their engines exploded at once. Later scans showed they hadn't been shot. Their fuel had been turned into vapor. Mid-dash flight. Technology no one could understand. Another empire, the Dreth, tried something different. They sent diplomats, offered peace. The Terrans listened, accepted the meeting, but sent no ships. Instead, they appeared inside the Dreth Council, all as holograms real-time. Resolution, full presence. Even though no signal had been sent, the Terran representative was calm, polite. "You have shown respect. In curiosity, you may continue to exist beside us." That was the first sign of hope. Maybe humans didn't want total control. Maybe they were willing to let the galaxy live, but they left no doubt about one thing: never enter their space again. The galaxy learned quickly, not through war, but through fear. This was not the war. Everyone feared it was worse. It was the war that never needed to happen, because the enemy was too strong to fight, too advanced, too controlled. The Terrans didn't kill cities, they removed them. They didn't destroy ships. They erased them from memory. Even battle records became corrupted if they included Terran encounters. Whole files gone, as if the humans could reach through history and delete the past. One analyst wrote in her journal, "This is not war. This is what war becomes when one side wins before it begins." Another theory spread across scientific circles. The Terrans didn't just evolve their bodies or machines, they had changed their presence somehow. They existed partially outside of reality. They could choose what affected them and what didn't. They had become untouchable. 1. Rest. The Chiron tried to copy their technology. They found an ancient Terran relay beacon floating in deep space. They brought it aboard. Their station went dark within the hour. When it came back online, every Chiron on board had disappeared. Only their clothing remained. One last message appeared in the station log. "You were warned. Curiosity is not a shield." By the end of the month, the galactic map was redrawn, not with borders, but with empty zones. Zones labeled in bold. Terran space, absolute no, Intergalactic. Galaxy had changed. Without a full war, without a final battle, because the Terrans didn't want war. And that was the most terrifying thing of all. For 50,000 years, the galaxy had asked one question: where did the humans go? They had vanished without a war, without collapse, without warning, no signals. No bodies, no ruins, only silence. Now that silence was breaking, not with screams or gunfire, but with whispers. Whispers from deep space, encrypted, shifting, ancient, and every time someone tried to decode them, one phrase appeared: we had to forget ourselves. On the research world of Maraxa 12, Dr. Aylin Vorn had spent her life studying for silence human data. She'd heard the warnings, seen the Terran dreadnoughts, watched entire fleets vanish in seconds, but she still wanted to know, why did they leave? What were they hiding? She didn't want war. She wanted truth. In an underground vault beneath her lab, she uncovered something rare, a fragment of a Terran archive core, half burned, half raced. Most thought it was useless. But late one night, while scanning its surface with a low-energy beam, it turned on, not with sound or visuals, but with a pulse. A frequency no living species could create. It entered her mind like a soft voice, gently pulling her thoughts into place. Suddenly she saw them, the last years of old humanity, not through screens but like she was there. They were not running from an enemy. They were running from themselves. Their minds had grown too fast. Their bodies, too. Powerful. Their science had solved everything. Except one question. What comes after perfection? The humans had reached a level of control where no disease, no war, and no hunger existed. Time was no longer a wall. They could bend it, shape it, skip forward centuries like turning pages in a book. But it came with a price. Emotion faded. Curiosity slowed. Their greatest minds began to go quiet, and something darker crept in. They called it the echo. A presence born from their own minds. Not AI, not alien, but something human. It watched, it whispered. It showed them futures, endless futures, and in every single one, humanity either left the galaxy behind or destroyed it. The echo was not a being. It was a reflection of their full potential. Terrans feared it, so they made a choice to forget. They shut down their own expansion. They erased their records. They split their civilizations into fragments and buried them across the stars. Each fragment would sleep, watching, waiting, listening, they called it. The Great Silence Protocol. And the message was simple: do not wake us till you need us, or until we are no longer alone. Back in her lab, Aylin fell to the floor, tears in her eyes. She finally understood. The humans didn't disappear because they were defeated. They disappeared because they were too powerful to trust themselves anymore. And now they were waking because the galaxy was nearing the same line: rapid AI development. Energy weapons that pierced stars, planets, turned into machine worlds, species playing with forces they didn't understand, and humanity had seen it all before. In their own mirror, so they were rising again, not to rule, but to stop others from making the same mistake. A soft chime echoed through her lab. Her systems blinked. 1. Terran voice whispered through her speaker. Not angry, not cold, just sad. You weren't supposed to find this yet. Aelin looked up, had to know. There was silence. Then the voice replied, then come see. A small Terran scout ship arrived outside her station the next day. No weapons, no threat, just a door. Aelin stepped inside and vanished from known space. Her last message was short. They are not gods. They are not monsters. They are what we might all become, what we might all fear. No one heard from her again. But deep in the data layers of the Senate's private archive, one image appeared days later. A Terran city, not broken, not ancient, but alive, floating in the dark, wrapped in energy. Outside the edge of all known space, at its center was a sphere, glowing, humming, watching. They called it the core of echoes, and beside it were billions of humans, awake, silent, waiting. The galaxy was silent again, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of waiting. Waiting for the Terrans to move, waiting for their judgment, waiting for what came next. The core worlds locked down. Fleets stopped patrolling near the Terran zone. Empires paused their wars. Pirate kings hid in asteroid fields. Even rogues shut themselves down, afraid of waking the humans further. No one dared cross the line again, but the line was no longer clear. Terran probes, quiet and invisible, drifted through neutral space. They didn't attack, they simply watched. And sometimes, whispered across every major system, strange messages began to appear. Short, sharp like echoes. The choice is near. You saw what we became. Now choose what you will become. Evolution is not mercy. No one knew what they meant until the day the sphere appeared. Not in Terran space, not in deep void, but above the Galactic Council itself. It came without. A ship, without sound. A perfect sphere of light and black metal, hovering above the Senate chamber. Without touching the ground, Admiral Jorax and Senator Veek were present. They stared at it, unable to move. Then a voice filled the air. We are not your past. We are your warning. The room dimmed, and then ... changed. The walls fell away. The floor turned to stars. They were standing in a shared vision, a Terran-created space, a memory, a message. They saw it, the future, millions of years compressed into seconds, galaxies torn. Apart by greed, species wiping themselves out with the same technologies they thought would save them. Machines that consumed suns.ai, that erased emotions, empires that chose control over life, and finally, ... nothing. Darkness. Not because something killed them, but because they all became quiet, like humanity once did. The voice returned. This is the path. You are walking it now. We walked it first. Flash of light. Now they saw the other future. One where knowledge was kept in balance with fear. Where technology was slowed.
That stopped.
Where species built together, not over each other. Where curiosity was guided, not unleashed blindly. And in that future, humans stood with others, not above, not below, beside. Then the vision faded. Back in the council chamber, the sphere pulsed one last time. A final message echoed through every system and every language. The silence ends now, but what follows is your choice. Then it was gone. No explosion, no war, just gone. Across the stars, reactions were mixed. Some wanted to embrace the Terran path, to slow down, to listen, to avoid repeating the mistake. Others wanted to resist, to fight, to grow, to push beyond fear. And somewhere between them, humans waited on the edge of space, watching, judging, hoping, not to rule, not to conquer, but because they knew the truth. The galaxy did not fear us because we disappeared. They feared what they might become if we returned. In the dark beyond stars, A Terran child looked up from her floating city. She blinked. She smiled. They're almost ready. She whispered. Her father, dressed in a uniform older than time, placed a hand on her shoulder. They'll have to choose. Like we did. And if they choose wrong? She asked. He looked out into the stars, then whispered, then we go silent again, until they're ready. This ends your 8-part series. No one dared enter human territory even after 50,000 years of silence. It began with mystery. It ended with a warning. Humanity didn't vanish. They just evolved beyond what the galaxy could understand. And now, they've given everyone else one last chance to follow, to listen, or to be left behind.